Meet sailing yacht Avanti and her crew, Gerard and Jacqueline. We left Cape Town in December 2021 on our floating home, heading west on an adventure of a lifetime around the world.
The day has arrived and we are ready for it. It feels like we've been preparing for this for so long. We've been nervous up to now, wondering if we shouldn't have taken crew for this crossing again. But when we opened our eyes on the morning, the nerves were gone and we were ready for this big task ahead of us. The wind prediction was looking good and the predicted current even better, and it was ready to take us southwest. Oh, so we just left San Jose in the Las Perlas Islands and we're on our way to Marquesas. The wind is light, but yeah, the water is so flat that we can sail and there's a decent current behind us. So we're only doing 4.5 knots under sail only, but there's a 1.5 knot current. So we're doing about 6 knots. It feels like we're only doing 3 because it's so flat and quiet. So hopefully the wind builds. The wind is supposed to build a little bit later today, and then the next few days should be good. But if we can do 6 knots in these conditions, then it's quite nice. We've got still one reef in the main. It's just more comfortable, especially going downwind, and the Genoa is almost full out at the moment.
We just saw 2 dolphins. They left us already. I've decided that our bad mojo with dolphins was an Atlantic thing. And when we see dolphins in the Pacific, it's going to mean conditions like this for at least a day. In the Atlantic, we used to get really bad weather whenever we saw dolphins. But I've decided that that's all past us. Who can't love these conditions? I mean, it's just perfect. I can stand on the deck without holding on. And we're doing 6 knots. It's crazy. It's time to bring our wind pilot back to life. He's called Gandalf the Grey Wizard. We were not able to use him much in the Caribbean due to all the sargassum. It doesn't take long for Gerard to set up the vane and he's ready to steer us. I've unpacked everything in this kitchen cupboard and there's a sound that I just can't find, and we've decided it must be wood creaking because we've unpacked everything, all containers. There's nothing rolling around, but the sound comes from this thing and we don't know what it is. It's gonna drive us crazy.
So after a lot of hours of searching for the noise, I've just lifted the floorboards because it sounded like something is rolling around under here, but it's just actually 2 of these wooden supports that was just a little bit loose, and the one was just pressing against the other one and flexing as we were sailing and the boat moves around. So it just made a hell of a noise. So I just put a screw in so that it's more secure. It's fiberglassed in originally, and that's just a little bit loose. So just one screw and the noise is gone, thankfully. Day 1 of the Pacific crossing has been really nice and calm. The wind has been as expected with a bit of a lull midday, and The rest of the time pretty much bang on the prediction. We've got a strong current with us almost all the way. We had to put in a few jibes just to kind of the wind direction did shift a little bit, so we've got a current. At one stage it was maybe more than 2, it's maybe down to 1.5 knots now. So our average is about 6.5 knots at the moment, and we really have light wind. So we have about, I don't know, between 12 and at one stage we had 17 true wind speed, but I think on average it's about 12. So we've just put in another jibe and we've pulled out the Genoa, so we're basically dead downwind at the moment, doing about 4.5-5 knots boat speed, but still 6 knots speed over ground. The sea is extremely flat, so we've had some weird currents, but there's just absolutely no swell. So even in the light winds, the wind isn't flapped out of the sails, and you just maintain speed. So if we had these light winds in the Atlantic, the sails would be flapping and all sorts of stuff, and we would be rolling. But it's really smooth, so nice day one. We've also put Gandalf into commission as soon as we basically left, and he's really behaving well. We haven't used him in a while for an extended period of time, and I'm really just so impressed with the wind pilot again that we're not using any power for the autopilot, so he's veering a little bit because the wind is light, but he's perfect.
Sadly no fish. We have put out 2 fishing lines with 2 new lures. One's supposed to make bubbles to help us catch the elusive mahi that we haven't caught yet. So we've got one that makes bubbles, and it even has like little beads on it to make attract the mahi-mahis, but no luck today. But we're also not too worried. Our freezer is still full, so catching a really big fish now would just be sad because we'll have to throw away something. And I don't know if I'd be able to keep my frozen broccoli if Gerard could freeze some mahi. Or even I don't know if I'd be able to throw away some good fish. So just some fun fishing today, but nothing caught. Day 3 and we are standing almost still. There is no wind. Luckily we do still have a bit of current with us, so we're doing about 2 knots in the right direction luckily. But since we're standing still, Gerard wants to take a swim.
Time to take a dip while we are standing still. We will probably just see if there is a bit of wind that's coming, hopefully, otherwise we'll have to motor a little bit, but hopefully it returns soon. Last night there was also a break, but probably only half an hour and it was back. So let's swim in 2,000 meter deep water. Oh, it was nice. It's way warmer than the water in Panama City, so it's definitely out of the cold South American current, humble current I think they call it.
Our smallest hitchhiker ever had a short ride with us. It had a yellow chest, but we had no idea what type of bird it is.
Yeah.
We lost the mahi, and we now have a no filming till the fish is on board rule.
It's day 4 of our Pacific crossing. We're just having breakfast. So after our swim yesterday, where we were completely becalmed, the wind kind of teased us the whole time. It came back and then it dropped again. So we put up the sails, put the sails back down, put it up again, started sailing, and then it starts flopping around again. So we did that a few times until we got a constant very light breeze, and we managed to sail with the mainsail and the genoa, but the main was a little bit floppy for a few hours. Luckily we still had the current with us, and we were making, I think, like almost 5 knots speed over ground, although we were only doing 3.5 maybe, or 3 boat speed. So that was steady, very light going for most of the day. And last night the wind dropped completely again, and we were drifting in a direction that wasn't really ideal. So we decided, let's motor for like 3 hours just to get a little bit more south where the new prediction said there would be wind. So we motored for 3 hours, switched off the motor, and then we had a light breeze again where we could sail with just the genoa. So that was last night. Then at one stage the wind dropped completely again, took down the sails, and we just drifted again, luckily again in the right direction and at about 2 knots current. And this morning we put up the sails again around about 5 o'clock, and again it's wind on the beam, the full genoa is out, the wind is too light for the main to be out as well, and it's not from behind, so we can't put our symmetric spinnaker up. But yeah, we still have the current. We're still doing about 4.5 knots speed over ground, and boat speed is only 3. So yeah, slow going, but at least we're going in the right direction. We finally have full sails out. This Pacific wind is really light, so we've tried what we can. The wind direction has shifted a little bit, so we can still maintain our preferred or wanted direction, and we kind of on a close reach now, so that makes it nice. And the sea is very flat, so we can put both sails out without any flapping, and it gives us, we just put the full main out, and that gave us about a knot extra on only like 3.5 or 3 knots boat speed. The current is still pushing us, so we should be doing around 5 knots again in very little wind. I think the true wind speed is about 7. So yeah, flat calm seas helps a lot.
A red-footed booby from Galapagos grabbed his spot on board. Normally they try and sit on our solar panels and leave a mess, so we have to chase them away. But sitting there on our bowsprit, he's of no bother to us, and he stayed there until the next morning. While the booby was holding on for dear life, someone else on board was also trying to find ways to take a nap without falling off. Next week is full of drama as we cross the equator and also run over a fishing line in the middle of the ocean. And yes, it went into our prop. Thank you to our Patreons who support the making of these videos monthly. If you're not a Patreon and would want to help us, by giving the videos a like, a comment or subscribing really goes a long way. See you next week.